operating in competitive markets?
Operating in, can you take that question again? Sorry.
Why is dynamic working capital management is relevant for firm operating in competitive markets?
Competitive markets,
Yeah,
okay.
Competitive markets.
Yes. So to stand out, and like I mentioned before, these other pillars of working of corporate finance has been in the forefront in business. So business managers are aware and knows how to leverage on capital expenditure to enhance performance. So as capital structure, but working capital management is not that much taken into consideration. And so in a competitive market, you need to stand out and explore some of these areas that is least explored. And so working capital management can be a very important tool to enhance corporate performance in such a competitive market. So all the competition is looking at all these other pillars. But to be able to stay in competition, some of these less explored areas can be a really good way to enhance corporate performance.
And what will be the underlying theory to this dynamic?
The underlying theory? Yeah, so specifically in one of the papers, legitimacy would be one. If the business wants to enhance its corporate image by trying to use working capital management to affect its carbon footprint. So that will be a legitimacy theory for the environmentally conscious consumers to know that it's also taking care of the environment. And this can be done through working capital management. So legitimacy theory can be used over there.
Any other theory?
Yeah. Pecking on that theory also helps in when, especially with the last paper, when leverage comes in and the company has to first look into, depending on equity, then has to look into borrowing and has to also look internally. And so internal source of fund is always preferable. And so the pecking order theory would allow the organization to prioritize where and how to source funding. Yeah.
And another one.
And another one. Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Trade-off theory.
Trade-off theory. I was trying to remember that. Yeah, the trade-off theory. Yeah.
Okay. You, in terms of your method, right? Have you what kind of robustness check that you use to validate your findings?
Yes. And so when I worked on the first paper, it was sent out for revision, and I was quizzed on some of these robustness check and diagnostic testings, and one of the reviewers pointed out some of these things, and so I had to find out which methods would resolve some of these issues to gain confidence in that. And so the dynamic working capital, the GMM model, is efficient in taking care of some of these issues that arises with robustness checks, like indigeneity and some of these errors, panel sampling errors and all that. And so the GMM model, as you will see run through all the papers, takes care of some of these issues when it comes to robustness. And again, I also employ different methodologies. So like in paper 1, 3 different methodologies to check for robustness. So if they are all talking about the same thing in different methods and using different variables, then it's checking for robustness as well.
How do you deal with omitted variable bias?
Yeah. So, like I said before, the GMM model does that. It helps. So, inclusion of this instrumental variables. So, instrumental variables are these variables that regress, or these they correlate with the regressors, but not the error term. And so, omitted variables is taken care of within this instrumental variables usage.
Do you think your model specification facing some issue of spurious regression or not?
It could be, but by using these analysis models, I was confident enough that some of these spurious and other concerns were taken care of by using different models in one analysis.
How do you handle missing data? Do you delete it or what?
Yes. So handling missing data, I winterize most times. Yeah. So at 1%, 5% levels, mostly. Yeah. I first. So cleaning it, I first make sure that the variables being tested, these data has it in the first place. So if I'm using inventory, I'm making sure that I select companies that have data for inventory. And I was also concerned using balance panel, not unbalanced panel data. And so if companies don't have these data, there are missing data, they are not included in the data at all. Then I went so as to take care of outliers.
Okay. Yeah. So that would mean it's likely that your sample will be having a problem of selection bias or not?
Yes, it could be, yeah.
Yeah. So how do you suggest we should...
Yeah, selection bias, yes.
Yeah.